Hi, what's up guys? This is Durian Productions. I haven't been uploading any videos for 2 weeks, due to the stronger COVID outside China. It is very hard recently to ship any laptops outside China, and just recently, the delayed laptop came around 2 weeks later. Today, we are going to open box a 14-inch Lenovo C940. It has a Core i7 with 16 GB of RAM and 1 TB of solid-state drive storage. Open box, the box looks gorgeous. The accessories are inside with the menus. I'm quite astonished that in 2020, Lenovo is still giving a 3-plug charger rather than a 2-plug. The good side is that it supplies a good USB Type-C to video adapter including HDMI and VGA. The chassis feels very solid, very high-end. Although it weighs around 1.3 kilograms, but it's actually pretty light on hand. The lines of the yoga is pretty straight, while it will not cut your fingers like some of the HP laptops. At the back side, there is a pretty long window for fan to go in, and 2 bass speakers at the bottom. One of the most impressive part about this Yoga 940 is about the feel of the metal. It doesn't feel so cold on hand. It feels pretty warm. On the left side, only a power button over there. Just press and turn it on. On the other side, there is one USB-A port, 2 Thunderbolt 3 port, and 1 earpiece port. The Thunderbolt 3 port is really an optimum feature which allows you to connect the external graphic cards or storage arrays. It is pretty decent for Yoga around $2,000 laptop to give some premium ports like Thunderbolt 3. It's a bit hard to open using a single hand. The screen looks gorgeous, almost no bezel or narrow bezel, but not as nano as the latest machines from Lenovo in 2020. The keyboard is definitely top-notch in laptop range. It is very hard to press a wrong key while having no idea where you are pressing. One of the downside or less premium side is the trackpad. It's acceptable, but not gorgeous for its price range. It cannot rival the trackpad from XPS or the MacBook. While definitely it is usable. The soundbar over there is pretty big. We will check later how it sounds. There is a fingerprint sensor. Now, let's try to power it on, and then check how the laptop works in real life. It's always a bit awkward to press the power button on the right side, but it has to be like this since it is a convertible. The speed is pretty snappy. Once you enter the system, you will notice an extremely bright and contrasty screen. It feels very comfortable in front of your eye, although the white is a bit of pinkish, while it is quite common for high gamma display recently. Opening the mail, service center of Lenovo, as well as the browser, Lenovo Vantage. The speed is pretty okay. It's far from great, but it's very stable. You can expect very steady experience from this laptop. There's some rubbish Chinese software inside, but you shouldn't have this type of software if you buy this outside China. Let's open a famous YouTube video to check something about the video and the audio experience.
But Grammarly can help. This sentence is grammatically correct, but it's wordy and hard to read.
Our next guest, all she was trying to do was catch a train in the London Tube, and now she is one of the hottest.
C940 is the best laptop I have ever seen till today with the best sound quality. It has better sound quality than any MacBook I have ever heard so far. You just put the small laptop on a desk and the base will tremble the desk. It is amazing, simply amazing. You will kill your $20 2.1 soundbar on Amazon. The sound also gives to the 4K display. It's very bright. It's very contrasty. It feels very comfortable to your eye with low level of blue light. This is really impressive. One of the specific part about C940 is not about just the sound, the screen. It's that you can put the pen inside the chassis rather than through it in your pencil box. And sometimes when you just turn the screen around on the desk like a canvas, you can just write on the screen like a Samsung Galaxy Note. Unlike many Windows tablets, the latency is pretty high. Now, the latency is pretty low. I was using Lenovo Mix 520 series for quite some time, and also the Surface Pro, and this one is definitely on par with the latest Surface Pro. It's touch sensitive, and it's very responsive, and you'll definitely like it. Now let's come to some specifications in i7-64. Basically, this laptop has all the best features that you can get on market. It has a 4-core A-thread Core i7. It has 16 GB LPDDR4 dual-channel memory. It's onboard memory. The GPU is a G7-64 integrated graphics, approximately similar to MX150 from NVIDIA. It has a gorgeous display from BOE, 4K one. Everything is almost perfect. The solid-state drive is the PM-A91A from Samsung, which is the best NVMe drive today. The Wi-Fi card is also the best in the market, the AX201, which supports Wi-Fi 6. And even though you are using Wi-Fi 5 router, it supports 160 MHz to increase the speed about 4 to 8 times. The battery is a massive 60 watt-hour battery. Considering the discharge rate around 6 watts, you can roughly get about 10 hours battery life maximum not doing anything. This is one of the less premium part of C940, since if you're working with this laptop, probably you can only get around 7 hours of actual usage time. As a comparison, some other laptop from HP or Dell offers simply easy more than 10 hours battery life. The benchmark of this laptop is pretty impressive. It has a very good AS SSD solid-state drive score, near 3K. Everything is very fast. The Cinebench R15 CPU mark is approaching 700 CB. Remember, we are running on battery mode. This is very impressive score on the battery. And the OpenGL score is also impressive, around 70 frames per second. It is roughly the score of the low voltage MX250 or the old MX150. In BMD raw speed test, the GPU can offer 21 frames per second, while as comparison, MX250 offers 25 frames per second maximum. As for the CPU side, it can run 19 frames per second, while check that the AMD Ryzen R5 can only run at most 11 frames per second in CPU side. Intel is still leading in the video editing software very significantly. We're not sure about the Ryzen 4000 series, but at least now it's better than 3000 series. We try to run some stability tests on this machine. Now, without running anything on the machine, the CPU is around 40 plus Celsius degree. Let's now stress the CPU somehow. And very quickly, the speed of the CPU reaches around 3 or 2.9 GHz. The frequency keeps dropping, and the power also keeps dropping. This is due to a very high CPU temperature approaching 100 Celsius degree. This shows that the 10 nanometer architecture from Intel is not as mature as we have expected. The temperature is very high, while the power as well as the frequency is probably less impressive than the 40 nanometer plus architecture. After 10 minutes stability test, the power goes down, the temperature goes down, as well the frequency also goes down. The frequency is now around 2.2 GHz and approximately stabilized around 2.2 GHz. It is not great for a high-end laptop, but it's definitely decent in this range. It gives around 20 watts power for this CPU as a power envelope, while the downside is from Intel. At a given 20 watt power envelope, it can only give 2.2 GHz, which is quite sympathetic. You cannot really use this laptop to do any video editing or other heavy work. We stopped the CPU stress test and then tried to stress the CPU and GPU altogether. Now we add the stress GPU option, click yes, and then start. At the start, the GPU clock rushes to the maximum 1.1 GHz, and CPU frequency is 2.5 GHz approximately. The power is around 30 plus watts, and the temperature is 90 Celsius degree plus. It has the same tendency of dropping frequency on the GPU side, while for the GPU side, it is not dropping so significantly. The CPU has dropped very significantly to around 1.x GHz, and within 1 minute, the power envelope is around just 22 watts. Let's keep the system running for 5 minutes. The power envelope has been restricted to 18 watts, which is very low. The temperature is now extremely low, around 75 Celsius degree, with the chassis only a bit warm. The GPU has a relatively low frequency, around 800 MHz, which is around just 75% of the original performance. The CPU has reduced to 1.4 GHz, which is hardly usable if you are playing any games that require a big CPU performance. Well, although the long-term performance is not very great, but the short-term performance is pretty good. Lenovo refreshed Yoga series with Yoga C940 in high-end and C740 in mid-end in 2020. The C940 is very impressive all around with high level of comfort on hand. It is meant for entertaining demanding customers and has done a great job. There are indeed some less premium parts, but anyway, it's definitely on par with other competitors from the market.